morning. Good morning. We're really glad to be here. We've got some great stuff to show you today. Some of it is stuff that we introduced last month at Macworld in San Francisco, and some of it is brand new here for the first time. So we look forward to showing you some great stuff today. Well, let's get started. Now, you can help me today. You can help me by just letting me know if you like something, okay? That'd be great. So, first thing I want to talk about today is one of the most important, and that is Mac OS X. Mac OS X is going to go on sale on March 24th for 14,800 yen. You're going to be able to go and buy your own copy. And that is coming out in Japanese on the same day. We're going to be shipping one CD-ROM around the world with all of our core languages on it. So Japanese will be on every CD we ship around the world on March 24th. So let's examine the architecture of Mac OS X for a second. The architecture has 4 layers: Darwin, the foundation, the graphics, the frameworks, and our new user interface, Aqua. So let's take a look at Darwin. Darwin offers us some amazing new features for the Mac. First and foremost, protected memory so you don't crash. Secondly, virtual memory so that the computer manages the memory for you. You don't have to figure out how much memory to allocate to each application. Third, preemptive multitasking, so that one application doesn't block other applications. Next, multi-threading, to help you juggle activities even more seamlessly. Next, symmetric multiprocessing, so that you get automatic acceleration when you add that second processor. We have BSD Unix services. This is a true Unix machine. We have BSD Unix, so you can talk to enterprise systems, you can talk to the rest of the world. Fully open source. We have open sourced Darwin. So we have a Linux-like community already making major contributions to Darwin that we're incorporating back into Mac OS X. So that's Darwin. Next is our graphics. We have 3 core systems in our graphics. Quartz, our whole new 2D graphics engine. OpenGL for 3D, and QuickTime. So Quartz renders PDF on the fly and anti-aliases it as well. We support all font formats, and we support compositing and transparency right in the graphics model. And you'll see what that means in a second. It's fast and it's stunning. And so that's Quartz. OpenGL. OpenGL is an industry standard 3D API for gaming and for high-end professional imaging. And we'll see some of that today as well. It takes full advantage of the hardware acceleration in the graphics chips, and it's also optimized to take advantage of the velocity engine in the G4. So that's OpenGL. And of course, QuickTime, we all know, industry standard. It's based on QuickTime 5. It's integrated right into the OS, so it can take advantage of the better plumbing in Mac OS X. So that is our graphics layer. We think it's superb. We think we have killer graphics in Mac OS X. And then our frameworks. We have 3 core frameworks in Mac OS X. The first is Classic. Classic runs existing Mac OS 9 apps as is, and it runs almost all Mac OS 9 apps. It's pretty amazing. But these applications don't get all the benefits of Mac OS X. They don't get preemptive multitasking. They don't get protected memory. They don't get Quartz. And so to take advantage of these new features, developers are tuning up their classic apps to go to Carbon. It's a tune-up that takes a few months, and all of a sudden their application springs to life, taking advantage of all the new features in Mac OS X. And then for those developers writing new apps, we have an extremely advanced object-oriented API called Cocoa. It's the fastest way to write an app in the industry, and it's pretty amazing. So we have all three of these APIs plus Java 2. We have a complete implementation of Java 2 very fast in Mac OS X, and those are our frameworks. And lastly, we have a whole new user interface on Mac OS X called Aqua, which is simply stunning. And I will show that to you in just a second. So that is the architecture of Mac OS X. And now I'd just like to show you some of the new features since we met here a year ago last year. So I have a computer running Mac OS X right here. This is one of the new screensavers. So here we are in Mac OS X. Now, let me go ahead and just show you some of the basics, of course. We, of course, have windows and menus, but things behave a little differently. You notice when I drag around the window, it doesn't just drag around a rectangle outline. It drags around all the contents of the window. And when I resize it, you see it resizing in real time. Right? Very simple. Pretty nice. In addition to that, we have a whole new thing called Sheets, which replaces all these panels that we used to have. Let me show you what happens when you try to go ahead and, let's say, save an application. You get a sheet popping down like this. You type in its name. You say, that's it. Very simple. You can say, well, what happens if the window's really small, smaller than the sheet? Well, you get this. What happens if the window is really close to the edge? Well, you get this. Right? And Sheets provide an example of our philosophy in Mac OS X. This is the simplest save panel you've probably ever seen. You type in the name of the document, and this gives you all your common places to